Danas u pogledu na zemlju idemo u Australiju, zemlju koja ima 23 milijuna stanovnika, a 15 je puta veća od Francuske. Richard McLean otvorit će nam vrata otočja Buccaneer. Na ovom nepristupačnom i negostoljubivom području ljudi u teškim uvjetima vade kamenice bisernice. U srcu Australije, Dave Cox i njegova obitelj žive na rubu pustinje Simpson. Životni uvjeti ondje su teški, ali zato Daveova djeca imaju najveći pješčanik na svijetu. Nešto sjevernije, u Arnemovoj zemlji Simon, Russell i Otto žive na tradicionalan aboriđinski način, na teritoriju svojih predaka. To je život bez prisila, osim onih koje nameće priroda.
Respect the land, you'll survive, you'll come back safely.
Otočje Buccaneer nepregledna je skupina otoka koja se proteže na više od 1000 kilometara. Ovdje ne stanuje gotovo nitko. Samo pokoji pomorac zađe u ovaj vodeni labirint. Među rijetkim ljudima koji dolaze na ovo mjesto su uzgajivači bisera.
This is the Grumman mallard. These are our transport vehicles for around this wilderness area. We're in a place where there is no access. We are 3.5 hours from Darwin by mallard, or 2.5 days by sea from Darwin. So without these transporters, we can't achieve our wonderful productivity. It's essential for us.
Ovdje smo upoznali Richarda McLeana. U zapadnu je Australiju došao prije više od 20 godina. Zaposlio se kao ronilac na jednom od brodova koji vadi bisere. To je težak fizički posao, a on ga obavlja već 10 godina.
It's beautiful. And it's kind of peaceful at the same time too. If you take the time to stop and relax and listen to it, every time you come here in different light or different weather or different time of year, there's always something different that catches your eye, catches your imagination. I find it very inspiring. Probably not many other places in the world are so uninhabited and untouched. We're very lucky. Make it back for breakfast.
Richard više nikad nije napustio ovo područje. Danas se brine za sva uzgajališta bisera tvrtke Paspali, velike tvrtke za proizvodnju bisera. Priča o kamenicama bisernicama počinje 300 kilometara južno od otoka Buccaneer. U priobalnom moru ronioci prvo moraju prikupiti kamenice u kojima će se poslije uzgajati biseri. Tony Cook sprema se ponovno zaroniti. Na 20 metara dubine temperatura vode je 19 stupnjeva. Vidljivost nije osobito dobra, ali bez obzira na to, Tony mora zaroniti.
Our fishing season starts around April and runs for anywhere up to 2.5 to 3 months. We take a team of divers up to 48. Paspali will take down the coast on up to half a dozen different motherships. We tow the divers, we call them drift divers. Drift diving, we tow them along the bottom where their sole purpose of being down there is picking up the shell, the wild shell, and during the day the divers will spend up to 8 hours a day underwater using our devised tables to ensure that we have no decompression illness.
Istodobno treba tražiti kamenice i nadgledati svoje neposredno okružje. Uz smrtonosne meduze i morske pse opasnost je stvarna. Tony dobro zarađuje ovim veoma opasnim poslom. Prije nekoliko godina dok je radio za drugu tvrtku, Tony je proživio dramu koja ga je obilježila za cijeli život.
There is some big fish out here. We have had attacks in the past. Probably, as I remember in my time, we probably had about half a dozen attacks and a fatality in '93, which was a mate of mine who got taken. The water was dirty, poor fizz, about less than a metre. and his dive buddy came up complaining of no air, got the surface and the hose had been bitten in half, so he pulled the hose in with nothing on the end. About a week later we found his body in a shark that we caught. But yeah, it was pretty tragic for the whole industry and everyone involved. It's always in the back of your head, especially in dirty water when you're working zero visibility. I think it's like anything, once you've been doing it for so long, you just take it as part of your job.
Kad skupe kamenice, donesu ih na impozantan brod, opremljen svojevrsnom operacijskom salom. Na brodu živi i radi 50 osoba, od kojih je 25 tehničara koji obavljaju kirurške operacije. Ovo je zlatnousna Pinctada maxima, kako se još zove kamenica bisernica iz južnih mora. Golema je i proizvodi sedef visokoga sjaja i satenskog izgleda. Kako bi se dobili biseri, najprije treba izvaditi divlje kamenice, pa zatim u njih usaditi jezgru. Strogo povjerljiva operacija izvodi se i za ove rešetke. Svaku kamenicu treba nježno otvoriti i u nju usaditi jezgru, kuglicu veoma osobitoga vapnenca. Strano tijelo u kamenici će boraviti 2 godine. Tijekom te 2 godine kamenica će izlučivati sedef oko te malene jezgre. Čim se usađivanje završi, svi se daju na posao da što prije vrate kamenice u njihovo prirodno okružje, samo što će odsad biti u kavezima kako ih ne bi odnijele struje. Nakon umetanja jezgre, nekoliko mjeseci budno paze na kamenice. Svaki dan Toni i drugi ronioci trebaju nadgledati mjesta na kojima počivaju dragocjene školjke.
We describe it as being an underwater labourer. The work itself is strenuous. It's like pushing a wheelbarrow underwater. Imagine that. We're in 20 metres of water most of the time, which is 3 atmospheres of pressure. So you've got those extra pressures on your body while you're working. You're lifting and carrying things unnatural ways. Yeah, you do get worn out quite quick.
Poput medicinske sestre koja njeguje pacijente, Toni se mora brinuti da se slavne zlatnousne školjke Pinctada maxima dobro oporave od operacije. Sami na dnu, ronioci imaju iscrpljujući posao. Trebaju biti u izvrsnoj tjelesnoj kondiciji kako bi se mogli kretati u tim uvjetima. Toniju su ljubav prema pustolovini i strast za adrenalinom bit života. Ne zavaravajmo se. Toni izgleda kao da se igra s ovom morskom zmijom, ali treba biti oprezan. Otrov ove zmije smrtonosan je. Na svu sreću Tonijevo odijelo dovoljno je debelo da ga štiti od ugriza.
It's just a passion for diving and being on the ocean. Came up this way surfing and fishing and ended up jumping on one of the pearl boats to start with when I was a young fellow and just pursued it. Been with it for nearly 20 years, so I've never had a bad day.
We're about to leave the operations grounds that we're at Sandy Point and then head up into the Buccaneer Archipelago into Talbot Bay. It's going to be about a 16-hour run for us. We should be there probably tomorrow afternoon.
Kako bi stigao u zaljev Talbot, brod na kojem plovimo mora otploviti 300 km na sjever, obići rt Levek i zatim ući u labirint otočja Buccaneer.
There's thousands of islands, inlets, channels, great tides. It's uninhabited, and it's just a fantastic area. The early morning light and the late afternoon light is when you see it at its best. It can look very harsh in the midday sun, because it's a harsh environment. There's a lot of local knowledge required, not only to safely navigate through these areas, because they're poorly charted, but it's a beautiful area. It's beauty in its ruggedness, I think.
U ovoj slagalici od kopna i mora tu i tamo razasute su plutajuće instalacije. To su uzgajališta kamenica bisernica. Nakon oporavka od operacije, kamenice će ovdje provesti gotovo 2 godine. Čudesno je to mjesto i toliko izolirano da nema nikakva onečišćenja. Savršeno za kamenice.
We're at Talbot Bay, in the centre or the heartland of the archipelago now. This is our Talbot Bay pearl farm. It's a floating pearl farm. 13 people live here. And look what's in here. Have a look at this. It's just an aquarium. It's fantastic. Bit of fishing to top the day off. Let's see how lucky we can be today. A lot of people, this is the reason they come to work here, so they can fish. It's more than a sport. It's a way of life for a lot of people fishing. Oh, yeah! There's a fish! And there's another one. Look, there's a croc coming in. Look at him. Very unusual for a croc to come in this close. You can jump clean into the boat without batting an eyelid. If you've ever gone on a jumping croc cruise like out of Darwin, it gives you one thing. You realise how high and how fast these crocs can jump. And you know, that's what everyone gets a bit sucked in about crocodiles, because they see them looking docile like that one is, just floating on the top of the water. But when he goes, you can see how fast he just comes in from out of nowhere.
Past 10 metres from their normal depth. Watch out.
Just let him come in a bit.
Oh, it's a cod. He's got the biggest one of the day so far.
Oh, it's a cod. It's a good cod too. He's quite a big croc, 3 metres or so. Croc, get off there. Just get off the edge of the boat.
He'll chomp you.
Come on.
U ovom spletu kanala Richard nam želi otkriti veoma osobit fenomen. Australci su ovaj fenomen prozvali vodoravnim vodopadima.
Yeah, there's a lot of water trying to get in or out of these gaps, so it causes these eddies, whirlpools. It's a pretty. We're very lucky at the moment because it's almost slack water, but still there's this much turbulence. So you can imagine what it's like at flood tide. It's extremely dangerous. We wouldn't be coming through here in a flood tide. 24, 26 feet is the difference between high and low tide. And that amount of water coming through these tiny crevices and rock gorges and that. Tremendous amount of energy. Huge amount of water being moved. All that turbulence and water exchange also increases the amount of oxygen in the water for food life, for our pearl shell and for all other fish species.
Nešto sjevernije u uvali Vansittart upravo počinje vađenje bisera. Za Richarda, kao i za sve koji ovdje rade, to je vrlo uzbudljiv trenutak. Napokon ćemo vidjeti što su kamenice sposobne proizvesti. Navodno da ne postoje dva ista bisera.
This shell now is probably 7 years old. It was 3 to 5 when it was fished on the 80 Mile beach. It's had another 2 years grow out. And it's been cleaned more than 50 times in that 2-year period, carefully by our farm workers. And it was delivered to the ship last night, opened this morning, and there we have it. Beautiful pearl. Let's go upstairs and see what's come out of the harvest today.
Kako bi dobili ovo maleno sedefno biserje, ljudi su se domislili različitim sredstvima. No bez prirodnog okružja, kakvo je na otočju Bakanir, ovi maleni dragulji ne bi bili tako dragocjeni.
That's a beautiful pearl. You can hardly see the shoulders of this pearl. You look through them. We're very, very pleased. This is going to be a good harvest. To see such promise, such nice colour, nice clean pearls, nice shapes. This is exciting.
Richard mora hidroavionom odvesti dragocjeni teret u Darwin. I mi ćemo poći s njim i napustiti ove čarobne krajeve. No, Richard će se ubrzo vratiti ovamo, na prostore tako udaljene od ljudi.
Yeah, I've just picked up those boys. We're on our way back for a beer.
Copy that.
It's in about 20. And we're just on our way back to Mount Dare, which is at the top end of South Australia. We really are in the centre of Australia and on the western edge of the Simpson Desert. And this is just a sample of the great roads that we have around here. We're very isolated. 500k from Alice Springs, 1,300 kilometres from Adelaide, and Rock is a day's drive away, so we're sort of a long way from everywhere, but just get used to hundreds of kilometres when you drive.
Mount Dare Station nevjerojatno je mjesto na samom rubu pustinje Simpson. To je mjesto na kojemu život pruža otpor. Uokolo, u krugu od 500 km, nema ničeg drugog osim kamenja i pijeska. Imate dojam kao da ste u pobješnjelome Maksu, ali bez nasilja i puno opuštenijem. Dave se odlučio sa ženom i djecom skrasiti usred ničega, ali u samom središtu Australije. Dave je ovamo došao prije 7 godina i preuzeo polunapuštenu benzinsku crpku. Mount Dare Station jedina je postaja za one koji se usuđuju otputiti u ove nenastanjene i nenastanjive krajeve, gdje se temperatura često penje i do 50 Celzijevih stupnjeva. Oni koji ovuda prolaze ne zadržavaju se, zaustave se samo na trenutak.
Cooking breakfast one minute and then you're out fixing cars the next. Just then getting ready with the post, and some days can be flat out in here.
Dave je jedina osoba na koju se možete osloniti ako se izgubite na ovom nepristupačnom mjestu. Kako bi mogao ovdje živjeti, jedan mu je prijeko potreban uvjet ispunjen. Ima izvor vode. Sve ostalo mora dovesti i to iz daleka.
This is all the supplies we need to look after all the tourists that come through. And at this time of year it's very busy, so as you can see we've got quite a load on at the moment. Takes us about 7 hours in the truck. It's usually 2 nights in town. And then we get back here, unload it, rush off and go and do another job. You do have to plan well ahead, and if you forget something, well, it's weeks before you get it. And our vegetable supplier forgot our lettuces. No lettuces. That's it.
Put do prve trgovine i natrag dug je više od 1000 kilometara, od čega polovica po paklenim cestama.
We don't really have a local trade. There are some cattle properties not too far away from here, but they're 70 kilometres nonetheless. That's over an hour's drive, so we don't often see the neighbours, and it's sometimes a special occasion when you do see them.
Što se društvenog života tiče, osim s putnicima namirnicima, Dave može razgovarati samo sa svojom ženom, 2 kćeri i zaposlenikom koji mu pomaže. Djeca na rođendan ne mogu pozvati prijatelje, no obitelj je pronašla način života koji im odgovara.
Here we got my wife Melissa and my 2 little angels. We've got the eldest one Charlotte and the little girl Crystal Ann. They love it. We've just come back from Alice Springs, where we've been to the Alice Springs show, so we've got the bubble machine and show bags and all sorts of stuff.
Ring Becky!
Just enrolled Charlotte. She's 3.5 for next year. She does kindergarten. It'll be correspondence through Alice Springs, and the year after that, then it will be over the internet, School of the Year. They can see their teacher through via the camera on the internet, and they can do music, they can do dancing, painting, anything they can learn is on the internet. And they've got a 99.9% attendance rate. So, and it's the biggest classroom in Australia.
Just closing your eyes.
It is throughout outback Queensland, Northern Territory, South Australia, Western Australia. So it is just huge.
Charlottin razred s 50 učenika najveći je razred na svijetu. Prostire se na području koje je nekoliko puta veće od Francuske.
We're going out to the airfield to go and meet the plane. The plane brings the mail in every Wednesday, and they take one of these, all their outgoing mail, and we collect our incoming mail.
My name's Rich, and I fly the mail plane for Chartier, based out of Alice Springs. It involves delivering mail to remote homesteads, communities around the centre of Australia. This company has the longest mail run in the world. There are mail runs that 3 hours flying in a straight line to get to the first stop.
Morning. Good. And I've been preoccupied and forgot to bring you a drink out, but you're quite welcome to come over to the pub and grab one if you want one.
No dramas, just the one?
Yeah, just the one, probably 2 kilos.
Yes, no dramas at all.
Everyone looks forward to mail day, and we'll sit around the table and divvy out all of the mail and work out who's been ordering the most things.
We have probably 9 mail runs on our books that go as far as West Australia, South Australia, and into northern Queensland. And it can take you all day, a good 8.5, 9 hours of flying to complete a mail run. And that's a pretty big day.
Poštari australske pustinje daleki su rođaci pionira zračne pošte. Mermoz ili Guillaume ovdje su sigurno mnogima bili uzor. Osim toga, Reggie malko nalikuje na Saint-Exupéryja.
It's remote area flying, if constantly over featureless terrain. It's pretty hard navigating out here. We rely on a GPS unit to get us from point A to point B. In the event that you do have an engine problem, we generally just pick a good place to put it down, and we've got supplies on board to last us at least 3 or 4 days, water and food, and we've got radios on board to attract the rescue crew if we need to. Quite fond of the red dirt, the Simpson Desert, the Tanami Desert. It's quite it's comforting. It's very interesting.
Oh, we've got to put the big wheels on, mate. We've got to go out in the desert for a couple of days, so we've got to slot these on. This car's purpose is primarily to be a recovery vehicle. It goes out to do tows, pull people out of bogs, repairs, anything that needs doing around here. And I'm going to take my little girl away with me this time. Yeah, you going to stay in the swag?
Yes.
All right. See ya. See you in a few days. Bye. I'll get it in a minute. Ready for big trip? The kids really enjoy growing up out here. I just think it's a great environment for them. Charlotte really loves it. She loves camping. Really loves camping, sleeping in the swag and stuff, looking out at the stars through the open swag. Loves it.
I nakon 4 sata puta, krajolik je još uvijek isti. Daveu nije dosadio, on obožava ovdje živjeti, tik pokraj ovih golemih dina.
Just being able to live and work in country like this is just special. You know, you don't want to be battling your way through traffic. I'd rather battle my way through sand dunes, you know. Yeah, we're going to camp just here, Charlotte. This be a good place for the camping. Yep. And to get. There you go. Get the camping stuff out now. Yeah. Oh. We're at Perny Bore, which is 65 kilometres to the east of Dalhousie Springs. And as the name depicts, Perny Bore, it is a man-made bore that has been turned into a wetland. They were looking for oil and, yeah, all that came out of the ground was near boiling water. So they said, don't need this, and off they went, leaving it flowing at, you know, so many thousands of litres a second. You know, it was just amazing, the water that was coming out. It would have filled these swales here before it was capped and restricted in its flow to just keep it to a moderate flow to maintain the wildlife that had become dependent on it. To raise kids out here has been a great privilege. Just this morning, Charlotte gets out of bed and says, come on, Dad, let's go and find some camels. You know, how many other kids are going to get out of bed and say that in the morning? This is Australia's largest sandpit. She plays out here, you know, like any other kid plays in their backyard, but I just think the scenery around here is just a little bit more special than the average backyard.
Oh, okay. My scissors losing, Dad.
Kiss.
Oh, Dad, you know the sandpit.
Yeah, it's a big sandpit, isn't it? Can you see how they happen, all these little waves?
Yeah.
Right? They're pretty, aren't they? That's the wind that makes those. And the wind makes one little wave like this, right? And then eventually, this little wave will be as big as this sand dune. Because all these big sand dunes start off as little waves.
star's gone?
Died in the sky.
Oh, okay. And where's the moon? The moon's still over there, is it? What's that? Oh, righto.
Inside the circle, a fire. It's really hot. Hey, look, a spider. He's looking for his mom. He can't find her anywhere. I nearly touch him. He might hurt. Spider, just keep going to your mom.
When you're out in the Simpson Desert, you've got 300 kilometres of sand dunes, no habitation for 500 kilometres between Mount Deer and Birdsville. And, it's the vastness that is out here, it's just undescribable. It's really something that you have to see to feel, I think. It's God's own country, you know. It's the colours around here, the beautiful rich reds are just fabulous. I love it. 6.5 years I wouldn't be here if I didn't like it. It's hard work, no doubt, but yeah, it's a great environment. It's peaceful. I just think it's great.
Na sjeveru Australije nalazi se Arnhemova zemlja, golemi zaštićeni teritorij. Arnhemova zemlja zaseban je svijet, gotovo poput države u državi. Ovaj teritorij pripada aboriđinskom narodu. A svaki Australac koji nije aboriđinskoga podrijetla mora dobiti posebno dopuštenje kako bi putovao ovom doista drugačijom zemljom. Mi smo ga dobili. U ovom spektakularnom krajoliku najstarija ljudska civilizacija živi u savršenom skladu. Već više od 40.000 godina isti narod živi na istoj zemlji. Danas na gotovo 100.000 četvornih kilometara živi samo 15.000 aboriđina.
My old people, ancestors walked this country from thousands of years. And they left the old track here. This is tough country. You have to have a lot of knowledge to survive on this country. My father taught me how to live on country, and he learned from my grandfather. The knowledge has been passed on to this country.
Usred krajolika koji ništa ne remeti, susreli smo Ota Bulmaniju. On je poglavica klana. Svaki klan tradicionalno živi na vlastitom teritoriju i seli se u skladu s godišnjim dobima. Prije, kad su se Otov otac i djed selili s klanom, pješke su prelazili i po 400 kilometara. I danas se Otov teritorij prostire na gotovo 10.000 četvornih kilometara.
I'm the traditional landowner of this country here, as you can see. This is all my country. But, you know, my great-grandfather and my father used to live on this country and do, you know, hunting and gathering around this area here. And now my father and grandfather gone. I am the traditional owner. I have to teach my kids to look after this country. We have like plenty, you know, billabongs, river, we go out and, you know, catch fish, feeding our family. Sometimes we go up on the escarpment here and do like kangaroo fire drive, and we, you know, catch kangaroo, and sometimes we go out and do shopping in town, you know, like basic food that we get them, flour, tea, sugar, and we come back and stay in the bush.
Oto provodi mnogo vremena hodajući po bušu. Radi lova ili kako bi prenio svoja znanja mlađim članovima obitelji. Ova je put sa svojim nečakom Russellom. 1920. godina bijeli su farmeri na sjever Australije doveli bivole koji su se dobro prilagodili i predobro. Kako im se broj povećavao, divlji bivoli postali su vrlo štetni za okoliš. Ti papkari grubo uništavaju ovu krhku prirodu i sada treba radikalno smanjiti njihov broj.
This bull is really injured and it's really dangerous. It's on a scrub here somewhere, but you have to be careful.
Za aboriđine nema otvaranja i zatvaranja sezone lova. Tijekom cijele godine žive prema svojim potrebama.
We eat a lot of bush meat. That's how we grow up here, and that's how we get like buffalo meat and kangaroo and bush turkey and all that. And there's a buffalo here, so I got them already. I think I might have a look what sort of meat I need, and I'll get it out as soon as I get it out. And I think that's our bush food. Sometimes we go out to the billabong. We had a lot of lilies in the billabong, but now it's all gone from the pig and buffalo. So we have to get rid of them all the time sometimes. Keep the number down and keep them out from the good place.
Život od zemlje, ali njezina zaštita i održavanje zadatak su u kojem sudjeluje cijela obitelj. Russell i njegov mlađi brat Simon otišli su u obilazak buša. Logor su podignuli već prije 5 dana. Oni kažu da su otišli u walkabout, dakle šetnju bez određena cilja.
The land, it'll take my breath away always. When I'm out in bush, it's really strong culture and the way we sit around the campfire light and yeah, I like it out here, and it's really beautiful, and the way you can hear the water, and it's really, really quiet, nice and quiet. And from where I'm sitting down here, I'll go to bed, and if I'm looking at the sky, I can see all them stars, a million stars all over me. And it's beautiful.
Ali ta šetnja može trajati i nekoliko dana, pa čak i tjedana. Ovisi samo o njihovu raspoloženju, logorovati, loviti ili se diviti krajolicima. To je uobičajen život aboriđina.
You know, watch out for crocodiles in this water, for sharks. Some fish, yabbies, stingray, and lots of sharks in this water. Bob. All right, Bob. This is my mother country, you know. I used to live here with my grandfather, but he passed away a long time ago. Maybe 1 year back or something. I used to saw him spear a kangaroo on his country. He used to spear a wallaby with little wallaby. He used to bring back that little wallaby to me, and I grow him up. Oh, lots of people don't like that. They don't have the land. Just good life for us in this place. We like this place.
Razorni požari mogu uništiti ovu isušenu zemlju. Od davnina Russellovi i Ottovi preci znali su svladati vatru kako bi izbjegli požare i štetu koju ona može prouzročiti.
It's fire season, and we're gonna burn the whole Arnhem Land. So everyone's lighting fire now in every art stations, and people live in hunting area. They all burn all that stuff. So it's fire season.
Some area we leave them for long, 2 or 3 years, fuel load, we get big problem like big fire, and you can see big black scorch mark right on the top. And for this sort of fire, it's a cool fire. And when we burn like this, a few days time, all the reshoot grass will come back, and then wallaby will come back, big buffalo will come back, wild cattle, and we can, spot them in a good place. It's very old system, like it's been from the very beginning, since our ancestors' time. They've been, putting the fire so that our ancestors warming themselves and feeding from fire. So it's really important, like fire give us everything.
Iz dima se pojavljuje Russellova obitelj. Nemaju ni GPS, ni kompas. No aboriđini se znaju satima voziti i usred divljine naći one koje su tražili. Odlaze zajedno provesti večer, što znači da će morati osigurati večeru za još 10 osoba. No Russellu to očito nije problem. Dok je Russell u lovu, Otto priprema večerašnju svečanost.
This is woolly bark, and I can listen that it's bit hollow here. So there must be good ditch. This one.
Didgeridoo je glazbalo iz Arnhemove zemlje. U ovome ga kraju svi znaju svirati i ima ključnu ulogu u aboriđinskoj kulturi. Svira se i tijekom svečanosti, ali i kao pratnja pjesmama oko logorske vatre. Za izradu dobrog didgeridua recept je jednostavan. Treba samo odabrati pravo deblo koje su besprijekorno izdubili termiti.
And I got a lot of family just came up for visit, so I think I need to get a lot of meat a little bit and take it back, and we'll cook them around, and I think we'll sit around the campfire in about Saturday night out. That's a family night to enjoy eating and have fun and talking each other, and I think we're gonna have a big feed and wash our hands, and I think go to bed.
Lov i skupljanje plodova temeljni su elementi aboriđinske kulture. Tako ostaju u kontaktu sa zemljom.
Our land, it's really like it's all about culture too, and like ceremony and stuff. And we don't want to damage any of our land, because we like living like this, and we like collecting all the bush food, and you can feel the everything that's got in the earth.
Jilil ngai gore, barngare ngalbi bay, daimre bogoboy, blumbele jiberoy, raja darnanai ngalam ngalam. Jilil ngai gore, barngare ngalbi bay.
Yan nai ba? Dari apa? Kenau.
U aboriđinskoj tradiciji zovu to pjesmom tragova. Te litanije tumače se jezikom koji nitko ne može razumjeti, no bitne su. Aboriđini kažu da je to jezik životinja. Jedna priča opisuje tok riječice i životinjske vrste koje u njoj žive. Druga pak prati granicu teritorija i životinje koje ga nastavaju. Svaka pjesma jedan je element njihove povijesti i opisuje dijelić ovog područja. I tako pjesma tragova opisuje vlasništvo obiteljskoga klana. Može se reći da je poput vlasničkog lista, a sve pjesme zajedno tvore neku vrstu katastarskoga plana.
This is like my grandfather wet season camping area. During floodwater, he used to come and camp here for black wallaroo, for hunting kangaroo. There's no any car track, pretty rough country. It's the middle of the nowhere, and you can find them this sort of painting around this everywhere.
Ova usmena i slikovna predaja potječe još od pradavnih vremena. S pomoću nje prenose se informacije koje su precizne premda nisu pisane. Za Ota, kao i za sve aboriđine, povijest njegova naroda zapravo je slijed osobnih anegdota.
If I'm walking on other man's country, I don't tell the story because I don't speak the language. New people always sit quiet when it's entering other man's property. And always sit quiet because you don't know what's the story behind you. But if you living on your country, you can tell them big mob story. You can tell them about, oh, let's go and hunting there, or let's have ceremony up here, and all the family, like country, make us talk. And it's there alive. It's watching us. If we make one mistake, we get sick because old people's spirit are watching us, and if we can't do it proper way by respecting the land, we get sick, fall from rock or big ironwood tree, goes through our feet, and there's a lot of dangerous part. So respect the land, it'll survive, it'll come back safely.
U Australiji je aboriđinski narod uspio preživjeti dulje nego jedna druga civilizacija bilo gdje na svijetu. Ključ takve dugovječnosti zacijelo leži u golemu poštovanju koje osjeća za svoju zemlju i bića koja u njoj žive.